Hello everyone, and welcome to my channel, Cooking for the Family. I'm Devon, and today I'm going to share with you how to make beef and potato casserole. Now we're going to make a cheesy beef and potato casserole. I have some really simple ingredients for our casserole. We're going to take this 1.5 pounds of ground beef, those potatoes, cheese, and this onion, and we are going to make some magic. You ready? Let's get started. So first, what you want to do is you want to go on and chop your onion. Now we're using a white onion, and we're only going to need 1/2 of an onion, and I'm using a medium white onion, and it's going to end up giving us roughly about a little bit more than 1/2 cup if you're going to measure it out. A little bit more than 1/2 cup, maybe 3/4 of a cup of this white onion. And I like to use white onion, but if you have a brown onion, you can use that as well. But we're going to use a white onion, and I chopped it up. I chopped my onion up, and you want to have your size of those pieces of your onion. You don't want to have them too big or too small, so you want to do them maybe the size of, say, like a dime to maybe the size of, say, like a pea, like rounded there. Then we're going to take some potatoes, and for this recipe you can use either Yukon Gold potatoes or you can use russet potatoes, and I'm using these big baking potatoes. These are the russet potatoes, and you're going to use about 1 pound of potatoes. And for these big cooking potatoes that I'm using, these baking potatoes, usually about 5 should do you. And then you want to slice them. You want to slice them just like I'm doing now. You do not want to have them too thin. You want to have them nice, substantial. And this is a little less. This is about 1/4 of an inch thick. You see how thick that is? That's how thick that you want your potatoes to be for your potato casserole. And we are pre-boiling our potatoes for our casserole. You do not want to put raw potatoes when you're forming your casserole. Your casserole will take forever to cook if you do that. And so it's important that you want to pre-boil your potatoes. We're going to also add some salt to our water, so that way our casserole is flavored and seasoned with every single layer. So I added 2 teaspoons of salt to our water as it was boiling with our potatoes. Next, we're going to go on, while our potatoes are boiling, we're going to start on our meat mixture for our beef and potato casserole. And that's going to first start with those chopped onions. I put in 2 tablespoons of butter. Now to that, I went on and I added our onions, and we're going to saute our onions just until they're translucent, just until they're soft. You do not want to brown your onions, and you don't want to caramelize them. You just want to soften them up. And so this is going to take maybe about 5 minutes or so. And my pan, I have my flame on my onions on a medium-high heat. And so they're on a medium-high heat, and they've been sauteing for a minute. And you see how they look, how they're starting to get that really translucent, that translucent kind of color, and they're just like changing some. And that's how you want them to look before you add in your ground beef. And so we're going to add in our ground beef, and this is 1.5 pounds of ground beef, and I'm using an 80-20 ratio of ground beef. And you can also use a leaner ground beef if you choose. In addition to that, guys, you can also use ground turkey if you like as well. This recipe is very versatile, and I have made it many a times with ground turkey as well. And hey guys, if you are new here, welcome. And if you're a returner, welcome back. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, what are you waiting for? Go on and hit that subscribe button. And if you like this video, don't forget to show it some love, give it a thumbs up, and click share, and share this video with a friend or a family. Now, once I have the ground beef and my onion, I'm really trying to incorporate the two together. We're going to let this go on and continue to cook, and we're going to add in our spices for our beef and potato casserole. Our spices, we're going to add in some salt. We're going to do 1 teaspoon of regular table salt. And if you have kosher salt, you can use that instead if you'd like. So we put in our 1 teaspoon of salt. Then we're going to add in some onion powder. Our onion powder, we're just going to use 1/2 of a teaspoon of onion powder. And then to our pan, we're also going to add a little bit of garlic powder. And we're going to use again 1/2 of a teaspoon, just 1/2 of a teaspoon of garlic powder. Garlic powder can be really potent, and so a little bit goes a long way. So just 1/2 a teaspoon. And then we're going to use some coarse black pepper, and we're also going to use just 1/2 of a teaspoon of that coarse black pepper. Now in the description box below, guys, I'm going to have a list of the ingredients that you need to put together this delicious beef and potato casserole. Now once we have all that in there, once we have our seasonings, you want to go on and start to really break down your ground beef, or if you're using ground turkey, you want to kind of break that down, and you want really small pieces. You don't want to have big chunks. You want to have more smaller pieces of your ground beef. And also, if you are using a ground turkey or a leaner ground beef, you want to add 2 additional tablespoons of butter. Now to our pan, I'm adding in some flour. I'm using regular all-purpose flour, and that was 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour that I added to our ground beef mixture. Once I do that, we're going to go on and mix everything around. Just like that. Mix everything around, because you don't want to have any of the flour showing. You don't want to have any of the white flour showing. So you want to make sure that you are incorporating and mixing around the flour into your ground beef mixture. Just like that. This is our thickening agent, which was that flour. Next, we're going to add 1 can of cream of mushroom soup. And so we're using that 1 can of cream of mushroom soup to the mixture. And also, guys, to note, when I put the flour in, I let it just kind of cook for a few minutes, just to kind of cook that flour taste out. So I just let that flour cook with the ground beef for about maybe 3 or 4 minutes. Now, once we've added in our cream of mushroom soup, we're going to go on and mix around the cream of mushroom soup and incorporate that. You want to incorporate your cream of mushroom soup that you have there with your ground beef mixture, and just move everything around just like that. Just like that. And make sure that everything gets incorporated, all the seasonings, your cream of mushroom soup, the flour. Make sure everything is just nice and blended in well. Now to our beef mixture that we have in our pan, we're going to add 1 can of milk, and you can use either 2% milk or you can use whole milk, but you're going to go on and fill the can up that we had our cream of mushroom soup. You want to fill the can up and add in that 1 can of milk. Then you just mix everything around just like I'm doing there. And then I've also raised the heat on my pan. I've raised it from a medium to a high because we want to bring this to a boil. And so it's just going to bring to a nice like boil simmer. And I like to go on and give it a taste and see how our seasonings are tasting. It should be right on the money, but you always want to give everything a taste first. It's tasting good. This is excellent. And let me tell you, just like this, if you wanted to do some macaroni noodles and put that mixture that I was showing you with some macaroni noodles instead, that beef mixture is so versatile. It can go with either the potatoes we're going to do, or you can even do it with some nice macaroni noodles, or even some nice egg noodles. Works really, really good. Now I'm going to finish showing you how we do this beef and potato casserole. I went on and I used some nice softened butter. Now it was 2 tablespoons of softened butter. I'm putting a little bit of the mixture on the bottom of my pan. I don't start with the potatoes first because I don't want my potatoes to end up sticking at all. And so I just went on and I put a little bit of that beef mixture right on the bottom, and then we're going to start with that next layer, which is going to be the potatoes. And so our potatoes are nice. They have cooked perfectly. I stuck the fork in the potatoes. The fork went straight through. They were excellent. And so we're going to go on and just layer those potatoes right in our casserole dish, just like that. And also be mindful, guys, you don't want to overboil your potatoes. You don't want them to start to break down on you while they're boiling. So you just want to cook them just until they're done. And we're going to be doing 2 layers of the potatoes and this meat mixture that we have here. We used half of the potatoes for the first layer, and then we're going to go on and put in more of the meat mixture on top. Just like that. This really great, nice meat mixture. Now, while we're doing this, I have my oven preheating on 375 degrees, and our casserole, our beef and potato casserole, is going to bake anywhere from 30 to 40 minutes, okay? Now I'm using some cheese here, and the cheese that I was using was the Colby Jack cheese. Now you can also use medium cheddar cheese if you like, or also mild cheddar cheese, but I really like how the Colby Jack melts in the beef and potato casserole, and just the presentation. I like that mixture of the yellow cheese and the white white cheese. Now we're going to go on and finish topping our beef and potato casserole. Now once we have it all nice and topped, I'm going to put some parsley, some dry parsley flakes on top, and that's really for presentation. I just think those dry parsley flakes really just helps to make this casserole stand out. Now if you don't have any of dry parsley flakes, you can go on and leave them out, or if you have some fresh parsley, you can go on and chop that up and put on some as well. Well, this is how our casserole is looking, guys. It looks great. It is time to put it in the oven. So first we want to top it with some foil before you put it in the oven. You want to top it with some foil, and you want to tint it a little bit because you don't want your cheese to stick to the top of that foil. Well, okay guys, so our casserole has baked in the oven for 35 minutes at that 375. It has gotten nice, hot and bubbly. Our cheese has melted. Will you look at that? It looks so good. My family is ready to eat dinner, and I'm going to show you how our casserole has come out so delicious. And guys, that last 5 minutes of baking in the oven, so if your casserole cooks for 30 minutes, 35 minutes, 40 minutes, that last 5 minutes, you want to take the foil off the top of your casserole and let it finish baking. And so you know what happens is those edges, right around the edges of our casserole, starts to kind of brown up and our cheese kind of browns up. You know what I'm talking about? Yes, so you want to make sure that last 5 minutes that you go on and take the foil off your casserole as it finishes baking. And I'm serving this up some right now. Now this casserole will easily feed a family of 6 very nicely. You may even have a little bit of leftovers. And you go on and pair this with your salad or your favorite side veggies, and you have yourself a complete meal for your family. Are you ready for your bite now? I'm going to go on and get your bite ready. The potatoes are nice and tender. There's your bite. Here you go. There is something so special about just the simplicity of the beef and potato meal. It is delicious, y'all. Well, I hope you give this recipe a try. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, what are you waiting for? Go on and hit that subscribe button. If you like this video and appreciate the content, don't forget to show it some love and give it a thumbs up. Well, that is it for me today, guys. And remember, it is always good when Devon is cooking for the family. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye, everybody.